My name is Matt Perennial, and I'm a student here at UC Davis. I'm also the chief analyst for the UCD PHSA. But more importantly, I'm a veteran, one of around 200 here at UC Davis. The small, closely knit community of student veterans face a unique set of challenges when pursuing our educational goals. As an advocate for veterans in the Davis Student Veterans Organization and as a member of President Napolitano's Veterans Advisory Board, I work to make sure that no veteran misses out on a quality education due to those obstacles. It is for that reason that I was very excited to hear that our next speaker had approached us about speaking here today. This man is a graduate of the prestigious United States Military Academy at West Point. He served in the U.S. Army in the famed 82nd Airborne Division. Upon completion of his military service, he continued his education, earning his MBA from the University of Utah before embarking on an exemplary corporate career. As the CEO of Procter & Gamble, this man led the corporate giant into the 21st century by expanding their customer base by over 1 billion people and supporting, it's been a long evening, and supporting environmental and social sustainability initiatives, which received recognition from the U.S. State Department and the EPA. Now, in 2014, he has been handpicked by President Obama to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs, and unanimously confirmed by the Senate in the type of bipartisan agreement that is all too uncommon in today's political landscape. Ladies and gentlemen, will you please join me in welcoming the Secretary of the VA, the Honorable Robert A. McDonald.
Thank you, Matt, and good morning, everybody. One of my leadership beliefs is that living a life inspired by purpose leads to a more meaningful life than simply meandering through life without direction. So I'm here to applaud all of you who want to go into the medical profession because that's living a life of purpose. I myself, when I was young, I was a Boy Scout, and I enjoyed the idea of helping other people at all times. I went to West Point because I wanted to free people who were living in non-free societies. I joined the Procter & Gamble company because of its purpose of improving lives. And today, on any given day, 5 billion people on the planet use at least one Procter & Gamble product. And when President Obama asked me if I would join in leading the Veterans Affairs Department, I immediately answered yes, because I felt like there was no higher calling than to lead Veterans Affairs. The Veterans Affairs Department was first created based upon the inspiration of President Abraham Lincoln during the Civil War. It was in President Lincoln's second inaugural address that he said that the government had a responsibility to care for those who had borne the battle and for his widow and for his orphans. In those days, the soldiers during the Civil War were all men. As a result, he used the masculine pronoun. Today, we use the words care for those who have borne the battle, their survivors, their families, because 11% of our veterans today are women, and we have an equal responsibility to take care of them. And that percentage is going to climb over time because 15% of the active duty forces are women. So you can see the importance of taking care of women's health for the Veterans Affairs Department. We serve over almost 9 million veterans in this country, and the service that we do is inspiring. We take care of their health needs, we provide benefits for them, and also, if they choose to, we take care of their families and them during death. We still take care of a granddaughter rather, of a veteran of the Civil War. We still take care of about 100 veterans, descendants of veterans from the Spanish-American War, all the way up through our current wars. The work that we do to care for people is unique, and it's something American health can't do without. I want to share an example with you. The example I'm going to share is a couple of weeks ago in Washington, D.C., I was able to give an award called the SAMI Award, which is one of the highest awards in government, to two doctors from the VA, Dr. Bill Bauman and Dr. Ann Spungen. Together, they studied the needs of patients with spinal cord injuries. Naturally, all of us who think about spinal cord injuries would think about the inability to walk. But what we don't think about as much is how the other systems of the body shut down or are penalized when someone can't walk. For example, if you can't walk, your bones have osteoporosis. They become brittle. Your muscles atrophy. So there's a whole amount of science needed to take care of people with spinal cord injuries. Please watch this video.
Hello, welcome to the 12th annual UC Davis Pre-Med.
I grew up in a family of two physicians, and my father had the incredible opportunity to work here at this institution. From my earliest days, my father would tell me how great the research was at the Bronx VA. One of the primary missions is to provide the highest quality biomedical investigation to improve the health and well-being of veterans, and by doing so, all Americans.
I share the responsibility with Dr. Bauman to help the center find the best way to improve the medical care, health care, and quality of life of people living with spinal cord injury.
The work that we do in our unit is to identify what goes wrong with the body after spinal cord injury, and essentially everything goes wrong.
When someone gets a spinal cord injury, the first thing they're concerned with is they can't walk. But as the years go by, they learn that that's really the least of their problems.
You lose muscle quickly, you gain fat also fairly quickly. When that occurs, it may lead to abnormalities in metabolism. There are no reduced stresses and strains on bone. That reduction in forces on the bones causes severe osteoporosis and may lead to fractures. And pressure ulcers are a terrible problem.
Finding the cure is great, but right now there's a lot of medical problems that have to be addressed in this population to help them have better quality of life. In 2010, there was Dr. Amit Gopher is an engineer out of Israel. He's actually a person with tetraplegia himself, and he had contacted Dr. Bauman to say he has this new exoskeleton called the Rewalk that he wanted to come and show us. And I was completely skeptical. The person that the company brought to walk in the device, I was told was a paraplegic, but I just see this person walking into the ward downstairs to the community day room in this device. I'm told he's a paraplegic, and I'm convinced it's a hoax. But, you know, he walked up and down the halls, and I turned to Dr. Bauman and I said, we're doing this. We have to find out if this is going to help the veterans with spinal cord injury.
The technology for the robotic exoskeleton is game-changing. It is something that permits an individual who has been seated in a wheelchair to stand and to walk. And if you have been injured and you have been unable to stand eye to eye with your fellow human beings, and you can stand up, and then you can miraculously appear to walk, it is an incredibly uplifting experience. We have observed that being up in an exoskeleton makes the gut work again, which is truly remarkable.
And until there's a cure for spinal cord injury, this is probably their biggest hope for being able to walk over ground, for potentially walking down a sidewalk or in a mall, or going to a park with their children even.
There is something special about being afforded the opportunity to broadly assist others. I was taught that if I could contribute to improve the lives of others, provide innovative care, and reduce suffering, then it is a privilege to do so. Federal service allows you to do so in a grand manner.
Bill talked about the importance of federal service. Imagine if you were in a for-profit medical system and someone said to you, should we invest in spinal cord injuries? to determine how to develop an exoskeleton so people could walk. In a for-profit system, one that I worked in before I joined the VA, obviously the issues would be how many people have spinal cord injuries, what's the rate of return, and the research wouldn't be done. That's why the VA is so essential to our country, because of the research that we do on things that other organizations can't do. The night I gave the award to Bill and Ann, we had on stage with us Dave. Dave was a Marine. He had run in 6 Marine Corps marathons before his spinal cord injury. This year, he won the Marine Corps Marathon in the wheelchair division. And he talked about wearing that exoskeleton and learning to walk again and being able to climb stairs. But he said the most important thing was to be able to look me in the eye standing up. That's really a life-changing experience, and we're thrilled to be able to do it. Our values at the VA are very simple. It's integrity, commitment, advocacy, respect, and excellence, which we form together in an acronym called I CARE, and that's why I wear this button, this I CARE button, every single day. These values are what guide our behavior, these values are what we believe in, and these values are how we treat our patients and others. As I said, we spend a lot of money on research. We've had 3 Nobel Prize-winning doctors. We've had 7 Lasker Award winners. We were the first to develop an implantable cardiac pacemaker, the first to do liver transplants. We invented the nicotine patch. We're working on artificial limbs that can be stimulated by electrical impulses from the brain. More than 70% of U.S. doctors are trained in the VA. And that number is increasing every single day. We have affiliations with the best medical schools in the country. Most of our doctors also teach in those medical schools, because that way they can do their research, they can do their clinical work, and they can teach at the same time at the medical school. All 3 legs of a stool, of an important stool. Our incentives. This is why one of the reasons you would like to think about working for the VA. We have a debt reduction program. We have a student loan repayment program. We have scholarships. We have competitive compensation. In fact, I just increased the pay bands for our doctors 2 weeks ago. And we have incentives to come work for the VA. In the audience today, Kevin is here. Kevin, if you'd raise your hand or stand up. Kevin is here to talk to you about careers in the VA. I want to close with one final video. It's a video that talks about really why all of us work in the VA. We have the best patients in the world in our veterans, and what we do is really a higher calling. We care for those who have borne the battle, their survivors and their widows. Please watch.
My dad's a doctor, and he takes care of heroes every day. It takes a special person to do what he does. Every day he sees people with different hurts and scars. Small ones, big ones, complicated ones that never go away, and others that are invisible to everybody else. The scars aren't just on the outside. Sometimes, my dad says, people hurt more on the inside, and you can't see those scars. Those scars take a long time to heal. Where my dad works, they make sure to know lots about the veterans they treat. Like where they were hurt, what doctors have tried to help before, the medicines they have to take, and other important stuff. so that they can be taken care of at other VA hospitals like his. My dad always says every veteran should be able to live a happy, healthy life. Because they risk their lives to protect and serve the United States of America. My dad's a hero to a lot of people, but mostly he's my hero. This is my dad.
Thank you. Hey kids, so who wants to be a doctor? Yeah, you. Tell us why.
So come join us at the Veterans Affairs Department. We will help you repay your student loans, we'll help fund your research, we'll help you achieve your goals in educating other doctors, and obviously you'll get to care for the very best patients in the world. Live a life of meaning, live a life of purpose. It's incredibly rewarding. Thank you very much for sharing your time with me this morning.